What's up guys, this is Sean. Today we're going to check out ETP at Meru Industrial Park 3. Something very different today. Let's go! Today will be a collaboration with one of the audience who is also one of the agents that is marketing this brand new industrial park. Some context, we are now in Kappa, which is within the same road. After Setia Alam, we go some more, then we will pass by Jalan Meru, then straight some more. And this, right, when you come in here, for those who are not familiar with industrial parks, you will be a little bit more fearful because it's not your usual cantik-cantik punya hartanah, you got landscape and all. No. In this kind of world, practicality means everything. And for ETP itself, in total, there's 32 units and it's built adjacent to existing industrial lots where you have the smaller type. So for those who are not familiar with industrial products, they also have the same thing like the terrace format, the semi-D format, the bungalow format and the mansion types of factory lots. So the units are now just CCC and you can see that there are some rectification works for the infrastructure elements. Next to it, you will have a dorm, which is also useful. So I think these are the formats of properties. Maybe like one day we get the chance to actually check it out, right? They're actually calculated by beds in rental. That's so cool, right? Here you look into the roads are all pre-mixed road. There'll be a gradient into the factory lot. And now the property price for a standard unit is selling for 8.5 million. And this particular developer who developed this, it's a very famous developer for locals. To an extent, right? The audience will not ask or query anything more from the developer. As long as it's from this developer, they will invest. Because this is the group that also knows how to manage the tenancy. So now the sub-sale price is also going for 8.5 million right now. I think there was some rebates, I think. And the ongoing transacted rental is 32,000 per unit. And this is just handed over. By the way, this is a very rare opportunity because most of the time why we don't get a lot of factories for review, because the main priorities are always the locations of the factory. Ultimately, it needs to be close to the delivery portals such as the Pelabuhan Klang. It needs to be close to infrastructure like the highways for delivery. It needs to be close to supporting services and the supply chain and things like that. Then the second thing, in terms of space, quantity of space, that matters a lot because these are very practical things. And whenever people set up their factory, right, most of the time you will have trade secrets, a lot of confidential equipments and documents within the setting itself. So it's not very good to shoot all the time. So today is very rare. Anyway, we are now in the center row. You can see that the width is very nice. Brand new premix road. Cantik sekali. A lot of car park space at the side, and this will be the unit we're going to check out today. Let's go. So coming into the unit, you will have an auto gate, and the opening, the clearance of the gate is 9.6 meters, and you will have your very own security booth. It's all set up with windows. This will be your security team, also your fire alarm system all here. Very proper, and you will have just cement screenings. And it's raised. So for the dimension of the factory, right, it's 239 feet by 110 feet. And in terms of the floor loading, is 3 ton per meter. You will have 4,000 amp power supply. The total land area is about 25,000 square feet. The build up is about 19,900 square feet. Because you can see that it's actually a few floors, so we'll go and check that out later. And as mentioned, the rental here is about 32 to 36,000 for the intermediate. The corner lot, because you will have a bigger size, right, it's about 55,000 per month, so it's about 270 per square feet. Oh yeah, last one, this is a freehold. From the security checkpoint here, you will still have ample amount of space. And I must say, this is somewhat bigger than the usual semi-D setting. You have a lot more space for loadings and for your workers to park their cars. And this is the side profile that you get. This is the benefit of the semi-D format. The width here is about 7.6 meters in width. All the way from the entrance, this will be the second loading bay. And the gate seems massive. So it's actually run on the I-beam tread. Solid. It also comes with a canopy, that shading lah, at least a little bit, right? That's nice. And you will have a ramp already, and you can really feel the gradient of the floor because all the drainage will be on this side of the building. I'm just not too sure why all these planter box are also included lah. So I appreciate the gesture. And this anyway will be the back part of the factory, so this will be to your neighbors at the side. And this is one massive production house. I don't know what's inside, but similar treatments on the canopy and the gate that's riding on that I-beam. You can see for factories of this kind of scale, what will be important is the width of span. So usually they will just apply steel structure, and in order for partition they will put in bricks. And in this situation they put in grade A bricks, which is most likely the fire bricks. And then they just plaster and paint up for simple, right? Then for roofing, I think it's like galvanized, corrugated steel sheets, right? And for the roof truss, it's also the steel roof trusses. The width of the back lane then is about 7.5 meters too. So you can still get your trucks to drive over all the way to the back. So that's good. In terms of width, this is exactly why you are paying a little bit more premium for a semi-D profile lah. If not, right, on a terrace format kind of factory, you can only look at the front and at the back. That one depends whether your neighbor got take up illegally on the spaces and things like that. Leceh lah. So this one more control. So this will be the rainwater down pipe directly from the roof going into the drain. That's nice. And I think this will be a side entrance into the factory. And for the entrance, this will be a shutter system at the front, and I like there's a glimpse, just a touch of luxury around the front. So you have a lot of glass panels that is tinted in green. So you also have a glass canopy. It also means that this is also presentable to walk-in guests who wants to visit the place. So there will be 2 staircases to go up to the upper floors that we'll check out later. This will be the main hall inside. So for the height of the mezzanine, this is about 5.9 meters, and the width from wall to wall here is about 12.5 meters. Very nice. And this is the shutter, as we mentioned. It's controlled using a mechanical system. No more the manual chain already one lah, huh? Then this will be the main entrance into the space. A double glass door, and this will be the entrance to the lift. So this is a 15-person lift because it can get tired by going up so many levels. And these are the specs to the lift, so it's all built in, you don't have to add in your own. Then in terms of DB box, this will be your DB, and this will be all your tangkis lah. So your bomba tangki and your domestic water tangki. Next to that, this will be the bathroom. Okay, wow, full towel out, so nice one. And you will have service seat specs. I can't believe I'm looking at toilet specs in a factory, but this is good. You will have 2 units of them. Very nice. And then this will be the main space lah. So the wall to wall width here is about 18 meters. The lowest point of the ceiling height is about 12.3 meters. And you can see the I-beam structures. These span to be columnless. Then you will have that strip of transparent materials for daylight. And this is without any lightings yet, no electricity yet. So this is actually very, very bright. And then you will also have windows at the side for ventilation purposes, unless you want to open the gate straight away. And the gate is controlled. Just when I thought it's mechanical, nope. This gate here is actually manual. So you want to change it or do some transition to it, it's also possible lah. But that looks massive though. Yeah, just something to take note if you want to modify it. Okay, let's go up. Coming up to the first mezzanine floor, you will have that stretch of opening at the facade. So they will have 2 staircase for fire reasons. So you can see the hose reel is here, and this will be a nice vantage point to the entire production of the business. So here you can scream to your staff lah, right? And then this will be the bathrooms at the mezzanine floor, just like the one in the ground floor. Okay, and here I think this will be a nice space for a small little pantry if you want to. And this will be an area for your aircon latch. So just looking opposite as well, this is how it looks like outside. So you will have similar treatments on the upper floors as well. Anyway, the ceiling height to this mezzanine floor is 2.78 meters, and the depth from the vantage point over to the facade is about 11 meters. And the handrails, they give you steel handrails, but I think you can actually convert it. You can seal it up if you want to. Then you can put in air condition, and this will be your first floor of office stuff already. Yeah, so in terms of panels, very solid. Okay, coming up, so we are now on the first floor after the mezzanine. Ceiling height is 2.8 meters. Here a bit narrow, it's about 8.2 meters only. Cement screeded, and you will have the windows as usual. The only difference is this will be the location of the surround. One for male, one for female on this side. And this one is just temporary structure, like you can really tear down if you want to for business purposes. Then this will be the bathroom area. Full towel up. Very nice. I think this one saves a lot of time and energy, right? The owner don't have to really do anything, or the tenant don't have to really do anything. Solid. And next to that, same thing, this is the access into the aircon latch area. And coming out, this is level 2. Okay, so there's a drop in ceiling here. So the ceiling height is 2.9 meters. Very comfortable for an office setting. And all the lighting points are all provided already. That's nice. The span, because you don't have the surround on this floor already, so it's 11.2 meters. And next to the lift also, you will have areas like this, right? Just a small pocket here. I think it can be a nice storage or a filing room, and this will be where you conduct your meetings. So I think the partitions will be the manager's room, then the meeting rooms can be on this partition here. Entirely up to you. And then similar treatments on the bathroom and the aircon latch access lah. So again, this is a fire requirement, which is the fire staircase. And I admire the developer knowing that this is a fire requirement, but they still built up to this scale. Because if I were just build smaller, the running distance could be less. I don't actually need another extra fire staircase. And you can already see certain businesses all coming in already since the building got the CCC. Neighbors all moving in, starting their operations already. And you just look at the drastic difference between the neighboring components compared to the new ones. So much different. That's why, right, this really can represent your company if that's something that your business needs as well. Anyway, let's check out the fire staircase. So this is how it looks like. So I think this can be also how your staff or team member is going to use the spaces. But the width of the staircase is actually very comfortable. It's 1.34 meters here. So besides the nosing, you will have the anti-slip material. The rest is all just cement screeded. But it's very bright, so without any lighting situations, right, this is how it looks. It's more than just a fire escape. And now we are back into the next row just to check out some existing tenants, right? So you can see a lot of cars here already. So imagine if all are tenanted, right, or in use, all here will be filled with cars of workers and things like that lah. And this is a temporary structure that this tenant has applied, or don't know, owner or tenant lah. And this is one of those possibilities to further enlarge the usable space within the factory itself. Right, so it's a temporary structure license. You can actually get it, and they got 2 units front and back, also side to side. Wow, this one they should always take one whole big piece all together. And the rental alone is 120,000. Woo. And I guess that's all for today. It's now time for Sean's Take 3 on 3. The first thing I like is the location, because this is directly next to Pelabuhan Klang. So if you're doing a lot of imports and exporting, this is actually a very, very convenient place. Not only that, there are a lot of supply chain or supporting services around SMEs, right, around the location. Because if you look into the entire car park, right, most of them are industrial lots that is focusing on manufacturing, exporting and things like that lah. So you're within the ecosystem. And for this particular one then, because this is adjacent to WCE, the closest entrance to the WCE is about 5 minutes away. So that's always good for logistic purposes lah. At the same time, you don't get the premium of comparable products around this area. So a similar size product of this within Kappa itself is going to cost about 20 to 30% more. But there will be reasons for that lah, but we'll talk about that later. The second thing I like then will be the scale and the specs of it. So no frills is one of the main components in my opinion for industrial lots. But basically there's two schools of thought. I'm on this school of thought where I want absolute practicality, nothing fancy, right? Just give me the space and the specs that I need. But on one side, you will have some developers focusing on ESG, focusing on branding, focusing on landscape, where it's more environmental friendly and things like that, right? So it depends on what you need and what you want. Because both of these clienteles are very, very different. Like here, you just look into the build-up space is bigger than usual, and because this is a semi-D lot, right, you will have 3 openings. Means you will have the front, back and the sides. So in terms of daylighting, in terms of ventilation, in terms of workable, usable space, it's way more than a terrace. And in this setting also, it's flexible where people can actually take up 4 units and turn into a massive big bungalow space lah. Although I say that this is a very, very practicality oriented project, right, the facade looks pretty presentable. So if I were to invite people to come over to my office, right, it's actually presentable. So I don't have to really get another office space somewhere else, right, where I can just put in my office here as well. My meeting room also here. And in terms of specification wise, right, it's also that very practical spec where it's 400 amp power supply. Then in terms of loading, it's 3 tons per meter square. You have that massive 40 feet ceiling height. Then you have passenger lift, then the toilets and all are very well done. And the driveway is all nicely concrete. But just too bad there are still rectification works on the road outside lah. Yeah, and the last thing I like is the little gestures by this particular developer. So then I spoke to the audience, then I met some audience also who is just around the corner, and they speak very highly of this particular developer. I don't know this developer at all, I'm not very familiar with them, but apparently if you're into this format of industrial properties, you will know them within this location to an extent where they are just waiting for launches by this particular developer. So the gesture that amazed me is they are actively participating in the secondary market. So if you were to just say they buy from this particular developer, right, of course first batch buyers you will get some incentives and discounts and things like that, but once handed over, the developer is actively looking for agents to market the property on behalf, and they already set the benchmark for pricing if you want to do sub-sale and for pricing for rental if you want to rent it. So they are somewhat protecting the interest of the earlier investors, which is very, very rare in my opinion. A lot of people, I sell already, I jiao lah, I'm focused on the second piece of land already, why I want to just come back, right? But this little gesture here is very, very different. I got a lot more homework to do lah. For the 3 things I don't like, then number 1 will be on a micro setting point of view. Few things. One is the entry to this industrial area. At the front you will have a lot of abandoned factories. I'm not sure why. And most of them are converted into accommodation for the foreign labours. But weirdly, that does not stop new tenants from coming in, because that's a whole different product altogether. Those are the terrace, somewhat like shop office, shop lot kind of setting. And we see a lot of rectification works on the roads and infrastructure. So that's one. The other one is the adjacent kampong setting. So on a good side, they may be the potential workers who is going to help you with your business. Then there are also accommodations for your workers who's going to work for you. So this is where they can stay and live. Secondly, will be on the original specifications on the factory by the developer. There's 2 perspectives to this again, because developer will want to give the best they could on the default product, but most of the time businesses will all have their own requirements, and most of them, all of these will be rectified. So that's always a wastage on the original materials applied to the original setting of the factory. Like for example, the one that we just visited, right, you will have the extension going on, right? The whole thing will be tear down. To a certain extent, the product is also meant to be torn down. Again, I do appreciate the initial gesture of the developer in trying to make the factory presentable on the frontage. If you need the property to impress people, then it matters a lot. If it doesn't, then it becomes a problem where the original specs macam waste money je. And the next one, I wish the side gate and the back gate could be automated or mechanically powered, but that will increase the cost again. And I don't understand why they didn't play about with the form of the layout to somewhat save up one fire escape staircase lah. Technically, I could have just built one last staircase to actually lower down the selling price, or I just make more money. I just shave off a little bit of the side to make the running distance meeting the minimum requirements, right? Yeah, there's two possibilities here. Is either the developer is very genuine in trying to give the best product ever they could possibly do, or they just didn't think of it lah. But anyway, I guess that's all for today. Shout out to the audience for giving us access to these products. And this is definitely one of the products to showcase more in the channel. This is somewhat that next tier of investment properties that we can venture into. But the starting price here is about 8.5 million. But monthly rental can go up to 36,000, which is currently, I think, can go up another 10%, about 40,000. And just think about it, does it make sense for you? But definitely it's that next level product. Like, it's beyond the apartment and landed properties. It's going to be that shop lots, commercial properties and industrial. And this is also for selfish reasons for myself, as I want to upgrade. Everybody needs to upgrade one, right? And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao.